lot of that worry doesn't come from the stress of what you're doing. It comes from the stress of you knowing your own potential and knowing you're not fulfilling your potential.
I was like, you're actually sabotaging yourself. Like, why have you stopped posting content?
Yeah.
And I really started doing the same thing where I was like asking myself questions like, why, when you're building momentum, do you just stop? Like,
Yeah.
what is causing you to do that? And I was like, actually, I feel like I'm scared.
When you're doing something new, your body's not accustomed to it. You don't know what is going to happen. So whenever I feel that fear, I just keep telling myself, okay, it's normal. You are going to continue to feel like this until you do what you're supposed to be doing, and eventually it will subside until you move on to the next big thing and get onto the big next step. Because when you're doing what you've always known, you're never going to feel that fear.
Like, you're actually that girl. Welcome. This is the Paula Oyinka Show, where our mission is to inspire women like you to become the best version of yourself at every stage of life. Today, I'm really excited because I'm joined by the beautiful Rahma Ali. And you know what? I usually like to let people introduce themselves. So we're going to do that. But first, pick a card from our conversation card.
Ooh, okay, I think I'm just going to go for one right in the middle.
And then just say,
Should I read
read
it?
it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then just answer it.
How do you balance work and a personal life?
Oh, I think that's quite good.
That's quite an interesting question.
Yeah.
To be honest, I feel like there's not always gonna be an 100% balance. I feel like sometimes, it might skew a little bit towards like family, it might skew a little bit towards friends, it might skew a little bit towards work, hobbies, passions. And I feel like if you're always trying to find the perfect balance, you'll drive yourself crazy. So I think it's best to just go where your energy kind of flows.
Yeah. And I think it's an interesting question for you specifically because you're a content creator and I feel like you do a lot of lifestyle content. So it's almost like your life is your work.
Yeah.
So, like, do you have a way to differentiate when you're working versus when you're doing life like normally?
I think I just like to kind of go where my energy is needed, and then I kind of judge it day by day, hour by hour, because I feel like life is so unpredictable.
It is.
You never know what's happening
Honestly.
next month. All we can do is just live our best.
Yeah, with literally, honestly. Oh my gosh. Okay, tell the people who you are. Who is
Okay.
Rahma in your own words?
Yeah, so my name is Rahma, and I'm just a human being, I'm just a human being. I'm trying to survive. I create content. I also have a business which I'm absolutely loving and thriving in and enjoying the process of learning. And I'm also a hobbyist. I love hobbies and trying new things and learning new crafts.
What hobbies have you tried?
Um, Sewing,
So do you make your own stuff?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
cooking,
Yeah.
reading. My new one is I want to learn how to crochet.
I
Yeah.
Do you know what? The reason I'm about that is
Yeah.
because during I think it was shortly after the
Mm.
lockdown, I bought all the stuff to start crocheting. Yeah.
Oh.
I crocheted one line and I've
Yeah,
not
no, it's
but
not.
I've not crocheted since.
No, but that's part of the
It
process. How
is.
can you crochet two lines if you don't crochet one line?
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
But the problem is I crocheted that one line like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And now the stuff is just sitting in my garage. And every time I see it, I like feel like
I feel like when you're online, you see things all the time, and you just
yeah.
exposed to so many hobbies, and it makes I want to double dabble in that.
That's my problem. Because even sewing, I keep saying to myself, like, I really want to like learn how to sew. I want to learn how to make my own clothes. But the thing is, my time is so limited at the moment. So I just can't afford to pick up new
Yeah.
hobbies.
Yeah.
How do you, okay, how do you manage your hobbies? So you learned how to sew, but now you've actually turned it into a business?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's also the craft behind it. So
Mm.
I kind of create modest clothing, and I really found that first I started sewing for fun, but then I realized there's so much to learn, like about the different stitches, and it kind of made me pay more attention to detail in terms of business.
Okay.
So that's why I think why people always say learn, 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 learn your craft. But I kind of get it because I feel like at the beginning there was so many things that I didn't pay attention to. That now I'm like, okay, see, like certain areas where there'll be details that might be skipped, I'm
Yeah.
able to pick up on that right away.
Okay. And are you talking specifically about sewing or just
I
business?
feel like that can apply to all
Yeah.
businesses. Like
Mhm.
whatever business you're in, I feel like there's the more that you learn and the more that you gain experience, just
Mhm.
the better your knowledge will be
Mm.
and
So
your
tell us a
experience.
bit more about like your business. So you've mentioned how at the beginning you were kind of doing it for fun, the sewing and stuff like that, but then it's transition and now you can see things as you're learning. Why did you start your business? And to be honest, why did you start your platform? Because you've got your whole
I
like
see. Yeah.
YouTube that you do and so much more.
Mm.
Tell us like about Rahma's visual diary and then also about your Abaya brand.
Okay. I'll start at the beginning.
Yeah.
So at first, I think like growing up, I was kind of across all of my subjects. There wasn't anything that particularly stood out to me, and my grades were all the same across everything. It was pretty standard, but I always thought, science kind of interests me.
Mhm.
So I wanted to go in that direction. I was like, I love science. I love learning new things. I just feel like even now, there's so much things that I always think, how does that work?
Yeah.
I look into it, and
Mhm.
I just think it's so interesting. But yeah, I wanted to go into teaching.
Okay.
I was fast for a good time and wanted to go into teaching. And then whilst I was kind of studying, I started doing content creation just for fun. Like I was going on travels with my friends. Originally, I wanted to be a travel content creator.
Okay, yeah.
And then COVID happened. I was like, oh, that's not gonna really,
Yeah.
it wasn't really possible to travel. So then I just started doing kind of lifestyle vlogs because I kind of enjoyed the editing process,
Yes.
everything. And then in terms of business, I've always loved really like, like modest clothing, headdresses,
Yeah.
stuff. And I told myself for years, maybe like
Mhm.
5 years, I kept telling myself, I really want to do this. And I had it in the back of my head, yes, I'm going to do this.
Mhm.
And for so long, I kind of found myself putting it off. I was like, yeah, I want to do
Okay.
this, but I didn't put a timeline on it. I was like, yeah, in the future, in the future, in the future. And then one day I thought, if you don't do it now, that future is never going to come. And you can't go back in time. You can only go forward.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think maybe I should have started it then because all that time that you think, even if this goes for any business,
Mhm.
you might have an idea. If you don't execute, I saw this somewhere that like, if you have an idea and it's like interesting or something that you want to do, if you don't do it, that idea is just going to come to life on its own.
Yeah.
And there's so much, I think, not pain, because I feel like
Mhm.
in my experience, I wasn't in pain,
Mhm.
but I feel like generally there's so much like anxiety, like depression, worry.
Yeah.
And a lot of that worry doesn't come from the stress of what you're doing. It comes from the stress of you knowing your own potential and knowing
Mm.
you're not fulfilling your potential.
Mhm.
So I feel like I'm going off on a tangent.
No, but it's
But
true.
lately, I've been thinking. Sometimes, whenever I'm worried or I have anxiety or stress regarding, like business, something I need to do, I think, where's this really deep rooted come
Oh,
from? It's
I
not
love
coming from
this.
the
Yeah.
stress of the thing. It's coming
Mhm.
from the stress of I have things that I need to do, places I need
Mhm.
to be.
Yeah.
I have
Yes.
business that I need to attend to.
Mhm.
So that's what I think. Like, what I kind of monitor. Where is my mind going?
Yeah.
What is the same thing that's going on in my cycle? But I don't know. How do you feel about that?
Do you know what? I 100% agree with what you're saying. And I said I love this because I genuinely do, because I personally have been doing a lot of self-reflection. And even recently, I did a post on my Instagram, like a story, where I just mentioned how I feel like I'm sabotaging myself. So with this podcast, I basically decided to go all in and
Yeah,
do it from July.
yeah,
And so it started in July in terms of like me posting content, but I'd made the decision about a month before
yeah.
because I was made redundant after having my daughter. And no, for me, it was a blessing in
Yeah,
disguise.
everything happens for a
Yeah,
reason.
exactly. I'm
You say,
saying,
oh, they're
yeah,
lost.
yeah. No, it's true, honestly. But for me, it was like the push I needed because I've always wanted to be self-employed. I never knew how it would look. And finally, I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna stop applying for jobs. So I decided to go all in on doing this podcast, building up
Yeah.
a community for a good 6 months before launching on the 1st of January. And recently, like I've been posting content consistently 3 days, 3 times a day on TikTok, built up a community to over 1,000. But then after the last production day, I just stopped posting on social media.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind, like now it's getting so close to the podcast launching,
Yeah.
and it's like, this is the time I need to even go harder on
Yeah.
my content.
And you will.
So thank you. Now I'm gonna get myself together
Yes.
because I was like, you're actually sabotaging yourself. Like, why have you stopped posting content?
Yeah.
And I really started doing the same thing where I was like asking myself questions like, why, when you're building momentum, do you just stop? Like,
Yeah.
what is causing you to do that? And I was like, actually, I feel like I'm scared. Like, and I think it's not saying it out of pity. I think it's just saying it out of being real. Like,
Yeah.
I'm actually scared because, like, what if I launch it and no one watches? Or what if I launch it and, like, now loads of people watch and it blows up and now I don't know how to manage it? Like, hey, man, but I'm taking. But like stuff like that, I just started getting a bit anxious around it. And I thought, well, no, I think that the reason I'm feeling these things is because it's new.
Yeah.
So I'm such a big advocate for self reflection and just like trying to be self aware.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that's now I'm at a stage where I'm just basically trying to push past that self sabotage and
Yeah.
just keep going forward. So I love what you said,
Yeah,
honestly.
I think when you're doing something new, your body's not accustomed to it. You don't know what is going to happen. So whenever I feel that fear, I just keep telling myself, okay, it's normal. You are going to continue to feel like this until you do what you're supposed to be doing. And eventually it will subside until you move on to the next big thing
Yeah.
and get onto the big next step. Because when you're doing what you've always known, you're never going to feel that fear. So I
Yeah.
just keep telling myself, feel the fear, do it anyway. Take feel the fear.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm like, try something new, like when you do something and you're like, oh, like, like almost like when you send a text and you're, oh my God, should I have
Yeah.
basic? Let's try like how it feels like when you're going on a new endeavor, you're a bit like kind of it's exciting.
Yeah, it is. It's exciting, but it's scary at the same time
Exactly.
because it's such a new
Yeah.
thing. But I honestly, and do you know what? I feel like I'm good at giving advice, but
Yeah.
sometimes I need to take my own advice, which is why I've been doing so much self
Thank you.
reflection. It is. It really, really is. But yeah, I think definitely feel the fear and do it anyway. I'm all about that. But I also think it's easier said than
So
done.
much easier said
So,
than done.
how do you feel the fear and do it anyway? Like, what is your
Um,
process?
Honestly, I think the fear, it says feel the fear, do it anyway. That sounds so casual,
Mm-hmm.
but that fear can be so crippling. Like
Yeah.
sometimes it just feels like, n- like self doubt. Sometimes it can be procrastination.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be, indulging in like other habits that you like obviously nothing crazy.
Yeah.
I just mean like, like watching Netflix, like doing things that will in the meantime bring you maybe more joy, but in the future it's not gonna do that.
Yeah.
Like I have this feeling, I'm like, it's not going away. Just gonna do it anyway. I just keep ignore the fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of also like you know how people say to meditate?
Mm.
I love to meditate. I don't
Mm-hmm.
really meditate that often, but as in like if I'm feeling stressed out or worried, I kind of take a step back and kind of like think about what I'm thinking. If
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just let the thoughts think. Because sometimes you can think something 100 times in a day and you don't even realize what you're thinking and it's stressing you out. Sometimes just taking a moment and thinking, what is going through my mind right now? I feel like when you take a back seat,
Yeah.
you can write those things down and if it's manageable, it's manageable. If it's not,
Mhm. Do you know what? Yeah, writing things down, game changer.
change that.
I feel like
Journaling.
the thought of doing things
Yeah.
is always worse than the reality. And you know, when you write it down or journal, like you said, it's just like a release, isn't it?
Is
Do you journal often?
I think I journal often, yes. I have like 3 different journals,
Okay.
but I don't journal every day.
Mm.
I probably journal like maybe like a few times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, in the new year my goal is to journal every
Oh, I love that. Do you, with your journaling a few times a week, is it like you've intentionally set that time aside to do it, or
yeah.
it's just kind of as it comes, you write.
So I keep my journal right next to my skincare. So
Okay.
when I'm doing my skincare, it just comes to it comes to my mind.
Mhm.
And then I have 3 different journals. I have one which I bought, which has a lot of prompts in it. So I just flick it to the next page,
Yeah.
and it might ask questions like what is the reason that you want to do this? What are maybe some things that you want to overcome? That kind of thing. And then I have the 5-minute journal, which is super quick, and I would say it's really good for gratitude because
Okay.
I saw this other thing that I read in a book.
Mhm.
Um, But in reality, I actually saw it in a video. I saw it in a
With
video
TikTok.
online. Yeah,
Yeah.
skip past that
TikTok is
part.
my source of information. Don't worry.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, I could have actually also read it in a book. But anyway, let me move on to the point that I thought at first I didn't understand why gratitude was so important.
Mhm.
I was just like, okay, yeah, it's mumbo jumbo. Yeah, like sometimes when you're having those days, you don't want to be grateful. Like, well, I know you should always be
Yeah,
grateful,
no, but I get you. It's not always.
but like you don't think about
Yeah.
how much of a like good skill it is.
Mhm.
So I saw that like being grateful is almost like a habit. It's like a muscle.
Mm.
You have to build it up. Every day, if you think about things that you're grateful, you automatically have that muscle in your mind
Mm.
that when things happen, which in
Mhm.
life things are always going to happen, but you've built up that muscle over time by every single day writing things that you're
Mhm.
grateful for, um, thinking about things that you're grateful for, like enjoying the things that you're grateful for, and like acknowledging them because there's so much things that we have that we they say
You know,
you don't
honestly,
enjoy something until you don't have it anymore.
it's so
And
true. And I think there's always something that you can be grateful for as well, even though like you may be in the worst place ever. Like some days are terrible. And also I guess there's also that element of um privilege in the sense that being in the West, like we don't experience certain things. But even still, even if it's just like the breath in your lungs that you're
Yeah,
grateful for,
health.
there's something that you could be
Not
grateful
all the money
for.
in the world
No,
could not improve your health, and it's something that I
exactly.
think a lot of us that are in good health take for granted.
100%. I've been listening to this audio book. It's called The Millionaire Fast Lane. It's a really good book. But one thing I like that he says in that book is that actually health is wealth. A lot of people think that wealth is like about money, but in reality, being healthy is wealth. Like if you
Yeah,
are not healthy and you can't, do basic things, you can't even enjoy the money if you make the
no, you
money,
can't. Yeah,
like so as people, we really need to prioritize our health.
yeah,
And I see also another book I was listening to was Stephen Bartlett's, I can't remember what it's called, but he did one basically accumulating all of the Diary of the CEO learnings that he had.
oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, I need to find the name of it.
yeah,
But in there, he made a really good point, and he said something like, if you don't have time to prioritize your health now, as in like exercise or eat well, then at some point in the future, you're going to be forced to prioritize your sickness or something like that, which is true because obviously, if you don't take care of yourself now, in the future, that's going to have
yeah.
consequences. So, yeah, health really
My
is.
bones are already given up on me.
Oh,
I feel like I really need to get into. I mean, I walk quite regularly. Like, yeah, I try to walk every other day or every day.
mhm.
I think walking is the one thing that I enjoy doing, but other exercise like building up oh my god, my
Mhm.
bones.
No, but do you know what? Yeah, I feel like you just have to find your thing. I'm telling you. I really think like you have to find your thing though, because if walking is
Mm,
your thing,
yeah, walking
then
is
that's your
absolutely my
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
Because after walking for so long,
Hmm.
trying to get to the gym.
Mhm.
I just think like I enjoy walking. Like I can walk for
Mm.
2 hours, but maybe even 3 hours at a stretch. Usually I do like one, maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But yeah, swimming.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know what kind of exercise do you enjoy?
Just do what you enjoy. Because for me, yeah, like I started going back to tennis. I've been doing tennis. Yeah.
Yes, okay,
We used to
Karina.
play it on But no, we used to play tennis when we were younger. So I was like, oh, let me do like the things that I used to enjoy doing. So I got back into tennis and that's always really fun. I love doing it.
Yeah.
And then recently, like the last 3 weeks or so, I started going to the gym again because I was a gym girl at
Yeah.
one point. And now that I've been back in the gym, I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
actually love going gym.
It's therapeutic after.
Yeah, it is.
Sometimes when you're on the way, you're like, but afterwards, that feeling and that dopamine hit you get is so.
Yes.
You never go to the gym and regret it.
Honestly, you never regret a workout. I
Never
say this
regret
to
it.
people all the time. I say it as if I'm a gym, like, I just say it when it comes up in conversation, like with other people who are like, yeah, I need to get into the gym. You never regret a workout. No, but like, yeah, I've loved it. But do you know what it is? It's not even just like the actual workout. One thing I've really enjoyed about going back to the gym is like how much it's reminded me that your mindset is really everything.
Yeah.
Because with the gym, like I've been lifting weights, I've been keeping it pretty simple, but I've been lifting weights. And more recently, I've been doing 30 minutes on the Stairmaster.
Was that Stairmaster is a killer.
Do you know what? This used to be me, yeah, and it is a killer still, don't get me wrong.
No,
But
it's
being
like
on there,
best exercise.
it is. And that's, I was seeing people on social media doing like 45 minutes, 90 minutes. I was thinking, "Oh, if they're doing that, I can surely do 30 minutes." So I just built it up. And for me, the way I was able to build it up is just because I had to say in my mind, like, I can do this.
Honestly, you can.
And that's
Just
what
if you
made the
just put one
difference.
foot in front of the other, your body is capable. The only thing that's telling
Literally,
you that you're not capable is your mind.
that's it. That is
And
it.
you just have to do it, even if you're so like when I don't want to go for a walk, I just have to say, even if you're so bored, just do it. Like
Yeah.
the things that you need to do, they're not always going to be fun.
No.
Sometimes you just have to, even though you don't want to, you have to just do it.
That's, it's like instant gratification. So, you know, you were talking about like watching Netflix and stuff like that. I don't think there's anything wrong, but you know, some days you need those days where you're
Oh
just
yeah, it's
literally
really
watching
cozy
TV.
day. Yeah.
But if it's like that's what you do day in, day out, and actually what you're trying to do is build a business, but you're not working on that business, you have to sacrifice the things that you enjoy now to reap the rewards of what you want later.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, I'm gonna say it, I've been having this literally about 4 or 5 people I've had the conversation with. I think people are lazy
Yeah. Of
nowadays.
course, yeah.
Nobody wants to work. And I feel like that is,
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard Kim saying that.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
I think actually right message, just the wrong source.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I really do think people nowadays, they don't really want to work hard to get to the places that they want to get to. It's just a small minority of people that are willing to put in the work to get the
Yeah.
results that they want. You do quite a lot of solo travel, don't you? And I wanted to touch on that because I do feel like a lot of people who are um of this generation, especially women, are solo traveling a bit more. So what made you take your first solo trip?
Um, I would say I started really small. The first time I ever went somewhere or did something by myself, I went to I really wanted to go to Nando's, and you know Nando's tastes better when you have it inside. And I was like, you know what, like I really want to go to Nando's, and I couldn't. Not that didn't have any friends, or maybe nobody was busy that day. Maybe it was a random time of the day. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go by myself. And that was like before I used to go out to eat. Like now I go out to eat by myself all the time.
Yeah.
I went down, it's like table for one, had my little lovely meal. I said, whoa, that was great. And then I thought, well, if I can do that. And then I think I gradually like I started like going to like cafes by myself. I started to like like explore like if there's a restaurant, oh, I really want to try that. Like I would just go. Like I wouldn't
Yeah.
wait for anybody to do anything. Like I would just go. And then the more that I did it, the more I said, this is amazing. You know, I love being around people.
Yeah.
I love friends. I love like family. Like I am someone, to be honest, I I love my own company, but I
Yeah.
probably love being around people more if I had to weigh it up.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe they're pretty even because at the same time,
Yeah.
I'm like, sometimes I just being by yourself, it's just like you get time to think, it's like relaxing.
You can breathe. I feel like it's like, oh, I can just be myself. Even
Yeah.
if it's like read a book, watch a movie, whatever it is. Like my husband went Bali this year and he was like, oh, the flight is 14 hours. I was like, do you know what I'll do with 14 hours?
Yeah.
I will have my books stacked up and ready to go. I'll watch every movie on that
Yeah.
flight. Like, I love solo time. So, where's the first place that you went to by yourself in terms of travel?
Um, where was the first place I ever went? Oh, the first place I ever went was the UAE, the Middle East.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I feel like I've spent quite a bit of time there by myself. I love
Mhm.
it there because it's so how do I say it? In Dubai, I'd go to Dubai, and when I was there, I just thought that it was just so safe. It's even safer than London. So in many ways, I feel like that wasn't where I thrived the most in
Okay,
terms of
yeah,
being solo.
yeah.
I always just felt like it was easier to be there than to be in London, to be
Mhm.
honest with you. You
Yeah.
don't worry about your phone, you don't worry about your belongings. You could literally leave your phone charging in the back of the cafe, be on the other side. You don't worry about coming home late, anything like that. But more than anything, yeah, I think I just enjoy my alone time. Even in London, I just enjoy going places by myself.
Mhm.
I just enjoy, I don't know, it's just like a sense of, it's so freeing. Your
It
alone time is
is.
so
It
important.
is. What advice would you give to someone who is like, they want to do these things, but they're struggling with the concept of being by themselves?
Oh, nobody cares. That's what you have to tell yourself. Because I think a lot of the time you think, oh my God, like people are looking at me. Literally nobody cares.
Mm.
And the way that I constantly feed that to myself is obviously people care, like your family cares, stuff
Mm.
like that. But in the general sense, nobody cares. Like, think about you. How many people do you ever think about, oh, why was that person doing that? Like, do you remember anybody? How many people have you seen this week that are strangers? Like,
Literally.
I'm passing. Do you remember any of them? No, they would have to be absolutely wilding out for them to be
It's true. It's actually
memorable.
true.
Yeah, they would
Mhm.
have to be doing the craziest stuff. So that's what you have to think. Like, everybody is only thinking about themselves.
Yeah, no one
Everybody,
thinks about you as much as you think they do.
no.
I say this all the
Yeah.
time.
Mm.
No, I love it, love it, love it, love it,
Yeah.
love it. Okay, it round about. We gotta wrap it up, girl.
Yeah.
But I've really enjoyed our
Mm.
conversation, and I wanted to ask: are you working on any like projects? How can people connect with you? And like, how can they follow your brands as well?
Okay, so I am on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at Rahma's Visual Diary. That's RAHMAS Visual Diary. And yeah, that's where you can connect. DM me, send me some love. I'll send you some love. And yeah.
And your brand, plug your
Oh, of
brand,
course.
girl.
And my clothing brand is called it's I do like modest clothing, like abayas, hijabs and stuff. And it's Nasfia. That's the name, Nasfia Abaya. Nasfia.
And is it that on social media,
Yeah,
Lesbia?
Nasfia
Okay.
Abaya.
Okay. Lovely. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You're amazing.
Please, it's been so lovely and so wholesome.
Yay.
And I wish you all the best and
Thank
all
you
the
so
success.
much.
And if you're a girl and you wish other women success, empowerment, you want people to empower you, how are people going to empower you if you don't empower others? Subscribe to this
Thank
podcast
you. Tell
right
them.
now. Whenever you see another woman doing something and it's inspiring, it's beautiful, or you can see somebody is trying something new, just like it the same way that you would expect others to show you love. Subscribe to this right now.
Thank you.
Right now.
Subscribe. You heard it here, loud and clear. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into this week's episode of the Paula Oyinko Show. This has been a work in progress since July, guys. I was made redundant and I decided to take a leap of faith, bet on myself, and just help women become the best versions of themselves. That's why I started the Paula Oyinko Show. And if you're truly on a journey wanting to be the best version of yourself, then make sure to subscribe on YouTube and follow me on all major streaming platforms. It means way more than you can ever imagine. I'll literally be jumping for joy at each notification. Thank you so much, guys.